Well, I think we can all agree, Matthew, that the Midseason Madness so far has delivered. And here in the lower bracket, the stakes are continuing to get higher and higher. It's elimination time for both these teams. And hopefully somebody there is helping Johnny out, maybe giving him some counseling, because what he just did to that banana, that should not be allowed.
Yeah, I think I saw Soda Pop and eat a banana like that once.
Yeah, I say no more, Matt. That doesn't really help Johnny's case, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the desk is, you know, look, it was a late night last night. Crazy games. Like, we were just talking off camera, like, the games have been incredible this week for the most part. Like, every game has been, like, relatively, like, even if it was, like, a 3-1, 3-0, it's, like, been close, like, back and forth. I think this first game is kind of set up to be something like that as well. They talked about Atlanta with, like, a quick turnaround from last night to today. But Atlanta's a team that rises to the occasion. I would not be shocked if they come in and, you know, look pretty fresh.
Oh, I love that you point that out, because obviously the Atlanta Reign are coming off an incredible match against the Seoul Dynasty, a team pegged by so many to be the best, or at least one of the best, over in the Eastern region. They overcome that ridiculous challenge, but their next matchup, it's supercharged with emotion, all right? Houston versus Atlanta. It's a classic matchup, and the last time these two teams met, it was an unreal C9 situation in Map 5. An expression on Hawk's face that will be immortalized. The shock of what had happened to the Atlanta Reign. They're here to run it back now, not only for their survival here in the Midseason Madness, but also to settle an old score.
I think a lot of C9s this season is players just try and figure out.
There's one less player,
right? Diva or Lucio, right? Those would be the players that would get on and touch. You know, this is kind of like where you would say, like, they're definitely going to be up for it today. Like, there's not going to be a situation where they forget to get onto the payload. I also thought one of the more interesting things is, like, you know, how they've committed to this setup with Hawk as the tank. You know, he's able to play against Seoul Dynasty last night, against Smurf, like in Winston and stuff like that, which is like right up Smurf's wheelhouse, one of the best in the world. And it looked fine and took the win.
Smurf is so similar in that regard. He was hailed as the really flexible tank that, you know, was rotated. He was super back in the heyday of that San Francisco shock. But here's the man on your screen. A lot of investment into this guy to make the tank role on this team indomitable. Let's, though, have a look at the other side of the aisle here, as again, these two teams are in the same room. Now, an inauspicious loss to the Los Angeles Gladiators for the Outlaws, with some extra spice at the end on social media. You'd better believe a fire in their belly for this team, and they've had a day off to prepare themselves now, fighting for their survival. The winner of this game goes on and takes on the winner of what? Shock and the Dragons? The loser, they're headed home.
Yeah, I mean, that is whoever wins this tournament, like, this is the hardest road, right? Like, they're, you know, tournaments in the past, you have like 4 teams, even like, you know, 8, but not international. Like, just think about, like, oh, well, after you get past this round in losers, you'd have to play the loser of Shock Dragons. Like, it's not really a great prize, you know, you can kind of go home with. Dante starting here for the Outlaws, so that tells you some Doomfist here in map number 1, and it is the Outlaws map pick.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be selecting Oasis first up in this series. Spoilers, as they come in as the highest seed. Not by much, but again, being able to select that control map makes a big difference, especially when you're playing with a tank that we know Dante doesn't play a ton of stuff outside the Doomfist, right? This team, this Outlaws team, they are opposite to the Reign in that they're pretty telegraphed in what their composition choice is going to be based on what tank they've got in up until now.
Oh, we just got a smile out of Kai.
Hello.
You know, one of the first times ever, I think, caught a little glimpse of why. I think it was something funny one of the Outlaws players did on their side of the setup. But I think Kai versus Merit's like a crazy matchup, right? When they were ranking the Sojourns like a few weeks ago, they were up there. Like really like near 1 and 2, both of them. Like a really strong argument for either of them being one of the best in the region in the West. So excited to see that matchup.
Yeah, I think that Merit flew under the radar for much of this season, honestly, until Sojourn was playable. And then we started to see him alongside a lot of other hit scans really make their mark. Something to look out for. No one can take away that triple clap, a triple kill with the one rail that we saw from Merit on Colosseo. That was obviously an incredible moment. But he's looking to add to that cache of memories here with some dominant play on Oasis. It's going to be our first map in this series. And again, it's going to be loser pick here in this first to 3 series. And to reiterate, ladies and germs, winner takes on the Shock. The loser of the Shock and Dragons, and the loser of this goes home. And what a match to have for an elimination match. Already trash talk in the lobby. There's trash talk in the room. There's going to be plenty of that from start to finish.
That's what I love about Atlanta. You know, some people are like, I don't really love the trash talk, right? But I mean, I love it. No, coming from Call of Duty, no, it's kind of just ingrained in you.
We all want something different out of this whole experience, right? But even people that sort of don't like the vibes of the Atlanta Reign have to admit that this team has been impressive for quite some time.
I like the trash talk. I know you've been asking for years that they just add like a little pip in the bottom of the gameplay that's just you standing there casting.
Do you remember World Cup? Was it 2019?
Able to make your dreams happen.
Was that 2020 World Cup when like we were able to pip ourselves because we were like producing the stream?
Yeah, that was so funny.
Pipped ourselves over Cup. Anyway, go back and watch those games. That was a hell of a time. That World Cup.
I casted with Josh because he started the match and Brent was in the bathroom.
Yeah, and we just like picked the headset up. And someone heard me getting angry because there's no water cooler. Branded as a diva forever.
Tracer versus Genji here. That's really kind of the thing you look at from both of these teams. That's the difference where Pelican, he's had like, you know, some big moments with like Blades, I feel like, but just kind of without that ultimate, a little bit up and down performances on the Genji. So see how it works out.
His Echo's been great, especially against like the anti-Winston or on the anti-Winston plan. It's a good start here though. Hawk eventually just kind of loses out in the neutral there, if you could even say there's one with these compositions. Iris and Merit though, Merit obviously doing a lot of work here from the sidelines. It's definitely an Outlaws fight win to kick us off. Started off by Pelican.
Yeah, and he got in there. There was a Discord onto Hawk, and then they were able to put down some damage, and I think that's a little bit more of the advantage of the Genji versus the Tracer. Like, I think the Tracer can get in and finish those kills off, but obviously takes a little bit with the blinks, depending on how many of them you still have available, right? You have to get in there, finish it off. Pelican just dashes on in, just able to cut right through Hawk and take him out pretty easy.
I'd suggest that this is the kind of game that Venom really has to go above and beyond here. It's a tough matchup at all times. Matching Pelican's impact is going to be crucial, and that's a great start. Take that, Cast a Curse Doubters. Venom finding an opening here in this fight by removing Dante, but again, point can be hard to flip here. You better believe the Outlaws are going to try and make this a little difficult, but with Iris going down, they lack the infrastructure to mount a response.
Yeah, and that's a nice long-range sleep there from Ultraviolet onto Lastra at long range, and it's one that you're usually able to stall out for a little bit, but like you mentioned, the Outlaws not able to hold on really there at all and keep that one going. You know, they do come back though here with a Nano Blade available, potentially all 5 ultimates available coming into this next fight. So if they're able to get a good blade here out of Pelican, they can flip this rather quick.
OD drops off the high ground. They're just concerned about getting picked off as he would have to wait for a bit for that capacity to kick in. Yeah, this is Nano Doom for sure. And it's in response to Dante jumping in. Hawk trying to deal with the enemy Doomfist here as Dante goes low, but he gets a Nano himself and is going to Meteor Strike on out of there. Oh my! He's not ready for this Meteor Strike, and that is a flat Ana. Unfortunately for the Reign, Dante's been going to work on the backline himself. It seems neither team's been able to stop the Doomfist from getting in there, but Dante has a bigger impact.
Yeah, we don't see it there because Ultraviolet is in like a really nice spot. He's trying to sit in the corner, get a biotic grenade from behind. But I think Dante just kind of like shoots out of a cannon there on the Doomfist with a Nano, and he's able to just roll through players on the Atlanta Reign. So just like that, Atlanta, they do get up to 45%. They make it close, but Houston able to flip it, and with only using the Meteor Strike and the Nano Boost.
Merit once again into the middle of the map, and that's a big hit that Venom just took. Discord order bottom there, so he has to recall. Annoying for him to waste that so early on. He'll have to hope it comes back online quickly, but Kai's found Dante. Headshot with the rail, and now he's looking for the back line. Doesn't respect the Transcendence, but doesn't see Merit coming with an overclock of his own. That's 2 for Merit now. Clearing the way for the rest of the Outlaws here to continue to mount this pretty nasty looking score. 84 and counting, Matthew, and Atlanta are struggling to keep in step.
Yeah, and that is one where it looked like Atlanta potentially was going to be able to come in, make a play for the point, but Merit with the overclock was just too strong there, and Lastra able to keep a teammate up using the Transcendence. Dante gets right on top of Kai, forces him out. It's going to be Venom getting on the touch.
Venom looking for Lastro. Oh, the Hawk goes down. What a huge pickoff. Lastro has time to flip the bird to his opponents and get a huge kill like that on a Hawk. That's ridiculous. Houston in a great spot now, and Pelican's really just trying to do this for insurance's sake. He'll chase OG down. The kick is, oh, it's so frustrating as Genji as he struggles to get to grips, but Pelican's done more than enough this round as the Outlaws secure it.
I think just really first kills there. You know, Marriott was able to pick up a few on the Sojourn. They did a nice job of discording Hawk and making his life pretty difficult on the Doomfist. We'll see if they're able to replicate it yet again. I'd also say for Atlanta, if you don't win this map, it doesn't go your way, you could really kind of force the Outlaws into what composition they play moving forward, right? With your map selections, as we know they kind of rotate those tanks around and have specific looks for each one. And
yeah.
Take a look from Merritt's POV. So got a kill earlier, yeah, and then one with the Disruptor shot, and then finishes off Venom. Biotic Grenade, yeah, that's nice.
Very tidy little finish there for Houston, but that really was about the first pick. I think OG just ripped, Lastro ripped Hawk a new one at the start of that fight. Having no Doomfist means you have minimal pressure on the enemy backline. Makes it even easier for Lastro.
And we're going to see Kai come out on Ashe. And something interesting is, like, we haven't seen a ton of Ashe in general, really, for the Western teams. Yeah, we've seen it in the East, but not exactly in the West. As Venom gets left there.
Someone tried to surgically extract Lastro's foot from Venom's behind before they can respawn. Yeah, look, and you can see how, like, the disadvantage at range that Merritt suffers against Ashe can be circumvented by power sliding forward and just trying to belt that enemy Ashe before they have a chance to respond. So nice aggression from Houston, taking the space away from Kai.
Hey, maybe Houston knows how important this match is for Lastro.
There's a lot on the line. There's two
extra prize money. That extra prize money is going to have
$2,000 at least. And we'll have a tally for you.
Yeah, maybe that's what he was trying to give his teammates more motivation. Like, hey.
Damn, if only the Outlaws had more scrim bucks to pay that off with. Unfortunate. All right. I mean, he's earning his keep, you know what I mean? I don't know if Lastro is on.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, man.
No.
Like, the Outlaws just upping the pace, like pushing Atlanta back, where, like, there's not even a lot to talk about from Atlanta's POV. Like, let's see how they come in here, like a Nano, maybe on a Hawk, but I mean, look at Houston. You got the Overclock, you got a Nano of your own, you got a Blade, like, now you win these fights in such dominant succession, like, you're going to end up like 70% of the point, all the ultimates that you can dream of here.
I want to reiterate, Venom has to have a big impact here. Last time we did, like, we stuck a really nice pulse to Dante. That's how you should start these fights. Hawk is getting shut down consistently. Oh, the Nano on his end. You know, you're walking to that, did you, mate? Oh my, Pelican absolutely ripped limb from limb by OG there, who then has himself a quiet sit down with Iris. And that'll be Atlanta Reign back in control. A little bit spare in that fight, to be fair. But again, nice job there, really setting OG up to bring the pain.
Yeah, so now you have a Transcendence, so no Blade on the other side. You use it pretty freely. What they have to worry about, though, is like the last time they used it, trying to keep Ultraviolet alive, it was Iris with a nice Biotic Grenade. Then you still had Merritt able to take him out through that.
Right.
You have to be so careful going up against Merritt. He's able to, like, just build up this charge on the Citroen, just make these railgun shots connect. It feels like almost every time.
Iris under pressure. Transcendence aggressively from OG, goes forward, but it's a bit of a non-blow because Hawk actually got out of the fight as OG was trying to go aggressive, and there's Ultraviolet felled by a railgun. Kai at least is able to fire one back, but it's just not enough. And again, it's Dante having a way bigger impact than Hawk has been able to so far. There are a lot of things going right for the Outlaws here, and the Atlanta Reign need to sort themselves out quick.
I also feel like, they've really made Hawk's life pretty difficult. Atlanta trying to play around him, maybe not the best setup at the current moment, because he went in and made an impact there, and him and Venom going to chase down Pelican here. But they tried to follow it up with the Meteor Strike and the Transcendence, and it just wasn't enough. The Atlanta Reign may flip this here, but everybody's alive for Houston coming back.
I don't know if they're flipping this at all, Matt. They're down to 2 players before this fight really starts. Kai had to go and touch. He had no choice. But man, the Reign could have benefited from his firepower in a moment like that. Surely the Houston Outlaws, a strong start here. And they're looking pretty pleased with themselves. Well, I mean, the faces actually they normally pull, so it's really up to your interpretation. But I'm going to say, for the sake of a good story, that they're looking pleased. Smile on the face of Lastro there, and a great start for Houston, Matthew. Got to be feeling pretty good about that first round.
Yeah, I do think, though, Atlanta Reign, with their map selection, can really force what they want out of the Outlaws. That's what I'm interested to see moving forward.
Yeah, keep your eyes on that. Let's see what Atlanta end up choosing and how the Outlaws respond. Can they exploit the telegraphed nature of Houston's tanks? We'll find out.
Please don't let me in.
Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time on my own. All these people trying to get a conversation. You can conversate to that tone. My gut eyes on that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. All these people trying to box me in. I'm at whether it's on, yeah. Now they ask where I'm at. Making hits that line back. I'm MJ, I'm 2-3, man. I just need some time back. I'm zoned in like defense. My life gone, no recess. But I live my best one, so I got no regrets. So gone, I'm gone. Finally back in my home. I'm working like like so much, they swear I had me a clone. Can't answer my phone now, just leave it there at that tone. Ballin' can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now.
Having the highest seed in this match, the Houston Outlaws make their selection of control map up first and able to take Oasis away pretty comfortably. Now that the Atlanta Reign get to make a selection map, they're definitely looking to play to their strengths. So what do Houston have in response?
Yeah, so Atlanta ends up picking King's Row here for map number 2. I believe we saw them play this against the Seoul Dynasty the other night. They ran Hawk on the Winston. And Dante will stay in for the Houston Outlaws. So tells you you're going to be dealing with the Doomfist comps. And I think if you're Atlanta Reign, you kind of know, like, hey, where can we take advantage of some of this stuff? Maybe you feel like it's King's Row.
All right, let's go a little deeper then. How do the Atlanta Reign take advantage of presumably going up against the Doomfist setup here for the Outlaws?
So, what, on King's Row defense, like, you have, like, multiple options, right? Like, could they play a Winston-based setup? You know, that's a possibility for the Atlanta Reign here. Now that we've seen Hawk play that, Sigma is available, right? Where the Houston Outlaws don't really, we haven't seen Dante play Sigma. I'm sure, you know, he can play it, but just at what level? A lot of different options here for the Atlanta Reign to play, where Houston is kind of just full committing here to the Doomfist, where, yeah, so on defense, like I mentioned, you can play the Sigma Winston. They're going to play Sigma here to try and control some of the high ground.
Now, we've seen this matchup happen on a couple of different maps, actually, where, and Midtown is one I think of, right, where we see Doomfist going up against the Sigma, often tries to unseat the Sigma, force him away from his backline, or just deny him that handy off-angle setup that those Sigmas often go for. Again, to what degree is Hawk going to be able to respond to, you know, Dante's dives here? That's probably a question for the Atlanta Reign to answer.
I do feel like there's better options for high ground control here than, like, Midtown on the defensive side of things, right? When you think of Midtown, like, you're just kind of set up by that subway. In that choke, they can just kind of run through. Like, here, you're just going to allow them to move through the choke, but once they're through, right, you have complete control of this high ground still.
So you can see how the Reign is spread here along that top causeway. And again, the Outlaws have a lot of checkpoints they would need to pass if they want to get to the back line at all. First pick here would be huge, obviously. Usually like a Sojourn, manufacturing a pick across the map. Can't count on those, but they've been crucial in the past. The Patapon, the kind of player that's been able to manufacture those. But Merritt closes the gap already. Through the hotel, wants to pressure Venom down. The orbs are coming in thick and fast, and OG claims one.
I was going to say, the supports for the Atlanta Reign up on the high ground. No, Ultraviolet was able to hit a big biotic grenade that hits Dante and Pelican the first go around. And you can see it at the top of the screen, just kind of like paying attention to, you know, Dante's box in particular. Now he jumps to the high ground, he got hit with an accretion, Discord Orb on him constantly. Makes it very difficult to stand up there and kind of try and trade as a Doomfist against the Sigma-based compositions. And I think the supports, especially with OG getting a pick there, or on the Zen even, just kind of dealing with the players to his left, dealing with players on the point, doing a nice job this far.
Merritt knows he can barely interact with people in OG's position unless he closes the gap somehow. His primary fire is not built for that kind of range. So the Outlaws give it a tickle. Drop onto the point briefly now as Pelican looks to try and isolate some players. But oh, he sees a Sigma and an accretion. Immediately after, he's able to back away, and Dante tries to dive again, and OG deflects another.
And they actually use the nano boost there onto Dante, but falls before he can get the effect of it. Yeah, and I don't even know if the actual impact made it there, even of like the damage structure or anything. I think it was something where I know nano, like, you can kind of almost like, it's like really weird, like almost like in flight, like, you know, kill somebody, like, and they don't get the effects of it. That's what it kind of looked like. So you don't have that big key ultimate here for the Houston Outlaws.
Devastating, because Ultraviolet sure as heck holds onto his. That can go from to OG or Hawk. Hawk obviously not a great candidate for that in any case, but still an option. So Dante takes the low ground here and is hoping to bait Venom in to the line of sight of Merritt, presumably. And the Outlaws are still trying to maneuver, trying to force the Reign out of their hidey holes, but so far not so great. Venom gets a nano, but has to recall out. So Dante's able to get in position to protect Iris against the Nano Tracer, and then step towards the point. Here's the Transcendence from Lastro, though. A Gravitic Flux might break this up, though, as Pelican looks to try and get some free damage in midair, and that's the bio to follow it up. Ultraviolet douses the Outlaws in his concoction, and Houston, well, it's back to the drawing board, isn't it?
Yeah, that is 3 players hit with that biotic grenade. Has players landing there for the Houston Outlaws, as that'll be a kill on the Venom, as Outlaws still lingering around the point.
1 minute left here is Lastro. Stand on the point now. Dante moves into position. Kai, the cogs turning in his head right here, deciding whether or not it's time to go for the ultimate. Pressure on Mirror, but Pelican is coming out of a mile off. He sees him, and the Transcendence is in place. OG comes to the rescue just in time. Then Pelican's not able to find any value from that blade. But here's the Doomfist. Kai being pressured. OG finds another one. He's having such a big impact against the enemy tanks, and now supports as Lastro is felled as well.
Yeah, the supports for Atlanta Reign have dominated this first half of play. They have been tremendous being able to stay alive on the high ground. I know some extra damage from OG. Ultraviolet constantly hitting these big biotic grenades. Pelican's going to switch off the Genji. Not working here.
But no tank switches, of course, from Houston because they don't with this setup. Which means that the Reign kind of know what they're going up against at any time. Pelican again wants to pressure Hawk, this time with the Echo. Dante takes a health pack here. Venom, there was no health pack for him to pick up, so he has to recall instead. Frustrating for the Tracer as Venom's out of the fight for a couple seconds. But Pelican finds Kai. The sticky bombs connect on the Sojourner, and that's a key defender down. Pelican with a second, and this should be Houston finally breaking through. Clever little sleep there, but it won't be enough.
Clutch break here from the Outlaws as Pelican on the Echo made an impact, right? The sticky bombs being able to get a little bit more vertical, like even above where Atlanta's setting up. So Atlanta looks like they're making some changes, as you can see. Ange gets right into the window as Kai, nothing you can do about that.
Beautiful stuff. Pelican makes a switch at the last moment. One of the pieces of this Outlaws composition that is extremely flexible. And they make use of that when and as they can. So 2 minutes 10 on the clock here. Atlanta Reign have got to be happy. You know, I mean, Kings Row, it's a long map. Plenty of pitfalls for the unwary here, and they got a pulse bomb to work with. Venom, not expecting that little stoush.
And something of a change here for the Atlanta Reign. They've actually switched Ultraviolet off of the on-end over to the Batiste. So having the Immortality field, being able to fight a little bit longer there. Nice pulse bomb. That's going to connect on Iris. The Houston Outlaws, they just push up right after that first pick.
Yeah, it's getting OG at the start of that fight. That's really impactful. Ultraviolet doesn't really have the chance to respond to railguns with that Immortality field. So if OG is like, if he's low enough in health, if he takes enough poke damage, Ultraviolet can't save him. And that's kind of what happens in that fight.
And this might be fast enough where you're going to make up, like you're not going to make up all the time, right? But you're going to make up enough time to give yourself an opportunity here at the end. The Outlaws are able to take this second checkpoint right now.
Pelican waiting for Venom to come out. He doesn't do anything. He knows that he's just going to force a recall and not get a kill. Here's the Gravitic Flux though. Lastro affected by it, but W's Transcendence pretty much immediately. Merit banking on being able to build up that ultimate before this fight really gets hot and heavy. It's going to be Dante down to start with. This is great for the defenders here. Immortality field going to force Pelican back and away, but Hawk eventually falls. Both teams without their tanks and the Transcendence in play here for OG. Merit trying to get value off the railgun here. He'll eventually bring down the enemy Zenyatta, but it's going to be a trade. 3v3. Pelican was in a dupe of Sigma for a time, but it's Kai to stand up. 3 for Kai and counting. That's 4. To really break this deadlock down, but Dante's back in the fight. Venom has a recall though. He actually can't fight the Doomfist right now. He needs to wait for Hawk, and finally the cavalry is here.
They're able to hold on as that goes right down to the wire. So Ultraviolet being able to use that jump from the Batiste to get to the high ground there with Kai, as Venom was able to contest. That was clutch, as I know Atlanta Reign, you have this Ant Matrix you can use on the high ground. Pelican goes off of the Echo now, goes over to the Genji.
All right, what kind of value do you... Oh, that's a great start. Dante Loeb gets natted immediately. That's going to inoculate himself, but they... Oh, yep, that's a classic, isn't it? That's just bloody brilliant. The Atlanta Reign and Outlaws known for their C9s, and there's another one for you.
Well, look, Dante's low. There's no Tracer there. No Lucio, right? So I think teammates probably expect him with the Nano to get onto it. We didn't see it from his perspective, like whether he used the seismic slam to maybe like
I think he did to try and get away or got stuck. Either way, he wasn't doing it towards the card, right?
Yeah, or he could have done it to like more of the left or the right of the card, and maybe he thought he's within like the hitbox radius of the card, but not actually. But still, pretty good defense there from the Atlanta Reign. Really good on point A. All the way through that streets phase, it was looking like the Outlaws type of game, but Atlanta able to clutch up at the end.
Yeah, look, I mean, and like you said, a lot of that is really set up by how stoic they were on that first point. The Sigma composition, And like you mentioned, a little bit harder to unseat the Sigma, or at least he has sort of more favorable defensive positions than a map like Midtown, where you sort of play by the train card and hope you don't get knocked off. Here it is, the anatomy of a C9. Okay.
So really you're kind of looking at so the Amp Matrix nobody wants to walk into.
Oh, the punch!
Here's the Nano.
The punch on the Genji was what got it. Pelican can't touch. He tries to, I think, but he gets knocked back. That's filth.
Oh, yeah. So that's a huge play from Hawk there.
Look at me, I'm screaming at a replay, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, you'll scream at anything.
It was pretty crazy. Ooh, all right.
It's a huge play by Hawk, though, right? Because they fully probably expect Pelican to be the one that touches there. It's a good catch. Yeah. Obviously not able to do so. That ends their whole half.
Coming back on the Doom, big play. Dante, nice early pick on Ultraviolet. Dove deep for that one, but he comes up with a good.
I wonder if we see the Batiste switch here for the Atlanta Reign. Pelican playing the Tracer here, not the Genji. But, you know, if you're going to be prone to this dive and not be able to get in a really advantageous position, you know, maybe the Batiste and play a little bit more defensive is the right way to go.
Yeah, Hawk just trying to get his team in a position to poke down. This sets OG up, right? Gives him a safe advantage to try and do this damage from. Get 5 orbs. We've now coined the turn. Disrupt the shot there. Just between Hawk and his backline, so no huge impact there. Nice little rail connection. OG getting hit markers. Dante's extremely low. It hasn't been topped up yet, so almost 2 ticks now and counting. Houston, they're playing this on hard mode, and Pelly's asleep. Yep, that'll be the finish. Venom finds him, and Kai brings Dante down. It feels like we found a critical mass here in this attack for the Atlanta Reign, and they're going to have a pretty smooth sail here into the rest of the map.
Yeah, that is a 6 sleep with just so much pressure being put, and look at this. This is going to be a pretty long stagger, so you're going to be without your Ana for a while. But what sets that up is they just get Dante so weak right at the beginning. A Biotic Grenade, a Discord Orb on him. Takes a ton of damage and not able to like really heal him up in time because it looks like everybody was quite low.
Yeah, you are asking about the potential Batiste switch, right? But obviously that Ana sleep against enemy Doomfist is pretty crucial, and if you hit a Tracer, then it's all over Red Rover at that point. 435, that is a beefy number.
And the Outlaws it doesn't feel like they have the luxury of being able to come up here and fight pretty aggressively. It looks like they're going to have to wait, and especially now losing Lastro, they're in a world of trouble.
Just try to stop me.
Yeah, Atlanta Reign building up like an avalanche. It's getting a bit hot in here, though. Kai wants to pressure down. The pulse bomb lobbed there by Pelican. Just, I guess Pelican trying to play safe and not get too close, but makes it impossible for him to guarantee a stick. And this cart is still on the move. Oh, man. The Outlaws under extreme duress right now, and they need to come up with a way to break this surge in momentum. Merit, that's what you want. Explodes forward and gets rid of Venom immediately with a railgun. He also has plenty more up his sleeve with that overclock. Hawk's able to pick himself back up and get a shield, but he's in a very compromising position. And desperately, Ultraviolet was trying to keep him alive, but he just couldn't do it. Houston find the stop they need at the critical moment.
Yeah, and for Atlanta, you invest a Transcendence there, and obviously it doesn't work out. Still a ton of time. Kind of happy you don't really throw anything else at it, right? Like, don't try and throw a Gravitic Flux at it. You know, if you would have gotten the overclock, like, save those because the Outlaws are in a spot where they cannot hold on to anything. They're going to have to use ultimates constantly to be able to hold this on defense and secure it, and then eventually you'll figure you're going to get an ultimate advantage at one point.
Yeah, it may just be a matter of waiting for that to come around. Let's see how much patience Atlanta are able to display here, as Lastro is all he's showing the strategy book of the double birds right now, and that blows up in his face. What a huge mistake to have made here. Dante with a nano, though, he can go in and pressure, but he's taking a ton of damage, and Kai, he's already made short work of Iris. Oh, golly gee. OG, though, can't get himself out of that situation. No Transcendence, so Pelican might have put the Outlaws in a position where they can salvage this scuppered ship. But there's 3 on the card, and that's moving awful fast here. The Outlaws have Pelican to step up, and he combusts. Yeah.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. Maybe if you would have been able to get a touch there, the accretion from Hawk knocks Dante back because you had Transcendence rolling there for the Outlaws. Maybe you're able to make something out of it, but Atlanta secures their map.
Images taking moments before disaster. I feel like on board with Lastro the Zenyatta, trying to flank play a cheeky angle and immediately getting absolutely ranched. Not what the Outlaws were looking for there, but it feels like they were always playing from behind with their composition. So let's see how they try and play to their strengths we got a match on our hands, so don't go far. Map 3 after the break.
Two shots, dead in the ground, we ain't the same, pull up. 3 rounds, bro, you done. We let it rain, head pop. So look out when we in the zone, don't play around. I got a strap, put to your back, tell you now, we laying it down, yeah. Bands up, trapped out, I bring the dogs, gang out. Look, don't wanna fade and drop out, got no clout. Think smart, this crucial. We ain't no average usual, nah. We let it rain, ain't seen a savage, who you?
And there's no better time than now. It's the Midseason Madness Global Tournament rages on. Submit your art celebrating the team or region you'd like to see win it all on the Overwatch League Fan Art Gallery. And if you're looking for a game to draw some inspiration from, this match is already establishing itself early as a bit of an instant classic. The Rain and the Outlaws again locked in this seemingly endless struggle. This time it is for survival. And they've gone back and forth, Matthew, in these first couple of maps.
Yeah, when you're just reading that for the art gallery, I just thought about the desk for their predictions, being able to just like draw them out tomorrow or something like that. Like they've just been going wild there in the truck.
Johnny with the Hangzhou pick
so
as
much
well,
fun.
by the way. That's giga spicy.
That was spicy. That was spicy. But you know how Johnny selects. You know, if he's wrong, he's like, I was just just trying to be entertaining.
content.
If he's right, he's like, see, I told you guys.
Yeah.
It's he makes
that's
a
the point.
not-lose situation. Yeah. So
That's the point.
Piggy in for Dante. Houston Outlaws map pick. They pick Dorado here. So we've seen Piggy play a little bit of Winston recently. Obviously Piggy a very good Sigma player. So maybe you want to bring that in to try and match Hawk in that type of role. Maybe we get like a really, it's not really bizarre, right? Because this is kind of what you're going to see in like Overwatch 2, obviously in 5v5, but like a battle of two players who are traditionally off tanks playing main tanks, possibly. I also think potentially setting up for a really good, long-range hit scan battle between Kai and Merit.
That's definitely going to be exciting on a map like this. Neither team, I don't feel like Atlanta really prefer to play that much Widowmaker, right? They definitely seem more comfortable having Kai on the Sojourn. Hey, he dubs it a quote-unquote boring hero, but when you see him play it, looks, nothing but exciting. So that's definitely something to be looking forward to, and we've seen that matchup already over the course of this series, but like you said, Matt, Dorado is the kind of map where that particular head-to-head gets amplified. That head-to-head really comes under the microscope here as we see teams often leveraging that longer range hit scan potential to create space or at least to pave the way forward for attackers. I'm excited to see this battle of tanks especially.
And Merit has actually had a really good series this far. So if you are the Outlaws, like, put your faith in him, start making some plays even further. So it'll be the Outlaws in defense, and look at this. So Pelican, he's been kind of going back and forth between like Tracer, Genji, a little bit of Echo there on King's Row, but he'll come out with Tracer here to start. And then you're going to have Merit on the Ashe. So not like a Widowmaker here, no Sojourn. You're going to play the Ashe at long range. The Ashe pretty good in combination with the Sigma, right? Being able to kind of stand behind the shield, put some damage down with the Zen. Players come in, you got Coach Gun, you have the Biotic Grenade, right, to kind of like stop that dive. Atlanta Rain, obviously, with some options here as soon as the door opens. They get a look at what is going to be on the other side. For me, does Hawk end up staying? Hawk is asleep. Does Hawk end up staying on the Winston? I think this is like another big test for Hawk because trying to play some more Winston. He's looked pretty good on it thus far.
Again, the Rain will look to leverage a bit of a difference in tank styles here. This time, Shoes on the other foot, right? We already saw Hawk on the Sigma beforehand, but there's hardly any presence here from the Outlaws early. They really just want to play this choke map.
Yeah, they're gonna back up, but this choke is where like space opens up and the Winston can get in, get behind, make a play here in combination with Venom. We'll see. Pelican's got to be super careful here with the Sojourn, the Discord orbs coming down that staircase.
Every time he peeks his head out, he takes an orb or some incidental damage from somewhere. Pelican, good purchase on Venom so far. He's been able to stave him off, but the pressure is mounting. The Atlanta Rain are definitely trying to force an error.
There are no kills being happened here, but Atlanta is just getting so much space. Like Hawk, like I mentioned, was able to just jump into the back, stay alive inside of his Winston bubble, and that just forces the Outlaws to keep backing up, backing up, backing up. Like eventually, look at this. You're going to get this payload pretty close to getting on in. It's going to be a nano boost built up already. Is going to give that on to Hawk. Is a pretty odd first point here if the cap goes across the line.
Yeah, love that sleep dart on Hawk there. Makes it harder to get value out of the nano boost, and the Outlaws have some players back in position to defend. Venom, though, looking at the fringes, and he's found Lastro now. Can he deal with this then? Oh, flying foot came his way before he recalled. Pulse, no good. Lastro comes out on top, and he gives the Rain another gesture. This one shooing them away. Far less, far less against the rules. This one won't get fined for it.
Yeah, it's Houston battles back there at the end. They end up using the Nano. I believe that is actually on the Lastro, and I think it probably just in response to the Pulse Bomb. Iris probably doesn't know at that point kind of whether it's been stuck or whatnot, so ends up just kind of like firing it off. But you won't have it here. And this is what I was looking forward to at the beginning of this map, potentially. We get a Piggy Winston versus Hawk Winston battle.
Yeah, nice to see that switch back there. Houston realizing or deciding they'd like to be a little bit more proactive here instead of kind of hoping that the Reign overextend in some manner or another. So with that said, still the Outlaws can't really take the high ground. They've given up a lot of map control already. Kai is safely embedded here, and obviously you'd still need to get through Hawk and Co before you did anything like that. Trying to punish Pelican there for that positioning. Kai not able to catch him out.
Pelican's still here lurking behind enemy lines.
This will be big. Yeah, Ultraviolet hatch that one like an egg, Matthew. Pelican has to recall again because it's just pointless to commit onto a Zenyatta. But still, it looks like the Outlaws get what they came for here in a big way.
Yeah, outside of that odd first push, it's really been all Outlaws as they've been able to stand strong on defense here. As OG not in a position to be able to like save Ultraviolet there. I know from a Pulse Bomb stick is Atlanta. They're going to bank on having all 5 ultimates coming into this fight.
Kai trying to keep that charge nice and high. An early pick here would be immensely helpful. Whether he does it with the rail or with the ultimate, not so relevant. Primal Rage here from Hawk. I'm hearing Bob on the thing. Yeah, Mera gonna let that one go here. Piggy taken down by a Pulse Bomb that went and landed. Yeah, I mean, they build up those ultimates, man. They kind of let them go here. Hawk with a bit more work still to do, and Lastro wants to pressure him down. He has the Transcendence in place, so now he transitions that towards the card itself. This gives Pelican the ability to be a bit more aggressive, but eventually that Zen ultimate is going to be over, and Kai nails him there with that rail. Over the top comes Piggy here, trying to buy a little bit more time here. He needs to be mindful of the card. He's pressuring Kai, but who's on the card? Well, there is a player there for the Outlaws, but they're eventually felled as well. And the Reign, a lot of low numbers on that top left there, Matt. They had to spend big to get that point.
Yeah, I was going to say, not really too surprising there, considering you come in and you're able to use every single ultimate to be able to take that. But the Outlaws, they invested pretty heavy into that fight as well. They come out the other side of it with just a Pulse Bomb. So we'll see now if Atlanta Reign can get this high ground control, get some more payload progress. I think it'll be, obviously Atlanta on offense here. We're going to see where their push ends up. I'm really kind of more fascinated about like what the Houston Outlaws offense looks like. Especially like, are you going to run this Winston? Are you going to play a Sigma-based setup? A lot of questions as we go into that next half.
Good chance that we're contending with potential Winston high ground defense as well, so we'll see how they respond. Kai finds Merit early on here. There's that early pick that we alluded to earlier on. Great sleep. That does Hawk in easily. Yeah, Pelican's just going to scoop that one up, take it all the way to the bank. Kai is still a threat, though, and Pelican picks his head around a corner just long enough to have a steaming hole bored through it. The Reign is still on the move here, even without Hawk. He'll be back in a moment. The Outlaws need to make a decision.
Well, you just have Piggy like jumping down, contesting the cart, then backing up. You're not going to get a lot of progress here with just Venom, but now maybe a little bit more serious. Hawk back in the fight. He jumps out. Yeah, he gets slipped right away. Special
delivery for Hawk. He'll be topped up, though, as he tries to go after Pelican, maybe hoping the pulse would blow up on him. But still, him surviving is enough. Going to be an out-of-boost on Piggy, though. This could get dangerous, and Pelican's going to bring Kai down before he can let that rail go in the direction he would have liked. Transcendence here for OG, but doesn't feel great for the Atlanta Reign as they are extremely split. Hawk a long way away, and the Atlanta Reign have to regroup without their support ultimates at all.
Oh, yes, this is going to be tough. It's Lastro getting close to a Transcendence. You don't really have anything here for the Outlaws. Maybe Hawk with a Primal, able to kind of like, displace Lastro if they're going to use Transcendence. Don't get the best use out of it here. It's now below 20 seconds.
15 and counting. Kai finds Pelican early on here. Good signs for the attackers, but Merit has a pretty powerful spot up here. Can they pressure him away? Extreme long-range railgun action here, but Piggy's gone low and it's a double by a great connection. Lastro's Transcendence is for nothing. The Outlaws could have held there surely, but the healing gets turned off. And the Reign hurdle towards that second checkpoint. Primal here, this should deal with the Zen. Lastro can top himself up, but eventually Venom will converge. Dealing with Piggy now with the Primal Rage. He's buying some time, but there's an Orb of Discord on him to make it harder to hang around. Beautiful pick from Pelican. Oh, OG goes down. There's 4 up for the Atlanta Reign, though, where they have the numbers to pressure. And they get that checkpoint, Matt.
Man, in the clutch, the Atlanta Reign comes up yet again, where the first pick there from Kai is huge, right? You're able to get Pelican, who's obviously got to play pretty aggressive to get any value out of the Tracer, able to catch him off guard a little bit, land a shot, and that opens the door for them to take that second checkpoint. Not a lot of time here left, though, at the end. I mean, what, a minute on the clock. You're looking at 2, maybe 3 pushes here, depending on how this goes.
Yeah, 3's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle. Still, though, good early progress as the Outlaws weren't really able to slow Atlanta Reign down at that choke, just based on how the last fight ended and where it ended, specifically. Bob here for Merit. Can't really interact too much until he goes to the high ground now with, of course, that coach gun. Great pressure there on Kai. Hits him with a dynamite, which is huge, and then able to finish the job. Trade, though, is... Iris is down for the Outlaws. They need that nano boost here for Piggy.
And I'm not sure if he sent that Bob in to contest, but he runs like all the way through. He actually goes through that like tunnel there and ends up hitting the wall. So not able to contest. So you got a little bit more progress there from the Atlanta Reign. Not a ton, but final fight territory, Transcendence available for Atlanta.
It's got a word for OG. So the Outlaws had their plans ruined by a Biotic Grenade. This cannot be the same. Piggy's here with that nano boost of his going to be put to sleep. Woken almost immediately, but the Discord Orb is a problem. He has to back away and just bide his time, and that causes that nano to expire. Here we go, though. Transcendence in play. Merit trying to pressure down. He's here with a Biotic Grenade. But Venom's not able to take advantage of that while that's in play. Still, the Atlanta Reign muscle their way through. Pelican is down, and Hawk has a primal now. Lastro is not going to be touching the card, so Piggy's the only issue, and he'll be knocked away.
Oh, he gets knocked away. Man, that is some nice play there on the Winston from Hawk, right? Using the primal, knocking Lastro out of the way, just in case he had like a Transcendence or something, right? And then able to, obviously Venom probably a little bit worried, right? As he's Tracer on the card, gets back to it, and then they just knock back Piggy and get him out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, with Lastro was too far away from the card to do anything. I think clever from Hawk to sort of identify that, and all they needed was such a small amount of progress on the cart, so it goes back and buys enough space to get the job done. So all things considered, Matt, pretty decent result here for the Atlanta Reign. We saw Houston, they ended up switching to like a Winston Nero, and we saw that Piggy is very capable, I think, for the most part, in making that pick work. I'd also suggest that Iris shutting Hawk down with frequent sleep darts was a huge part of the Outlaws' ability to buy time defensively. Hawk seemed to run into some trouble with that crowd control.
Kai comes out on Sojourn here, so no Ashe for the Atlanta Reign on defense, but obviously a much different setup, right? When you're going to play the Winston Sojourn with the dash, and then the jump can be a little bit more aggressive than, let's say, an Ashe would be. Ashe, I think, kind of combos better with Sigma for a little bit more of a, you don't want to say like a bunker comp, but one that's going to be a little bit more static. So the Outlaws, see Pelican, maybe he stays on this Echo. I think the Echo's an interesting pick.
I think
Echo's pretty good against Winston, right?
There's some risk, yes, there's some risk here, and obviously Pelican having to cross this expanse, so you notice he's very mindful of just how much altitude he's gaining and how vulnerable he would be to a rail from Kaya. But he can sort of deny positioning on top of these buildings pretty effectively, right? There's nothing Hawk can do about this poke damage that's going to constantly come in. So by the time Piggy jumps up there, Hawk's already half HP. Great way to deny like a high ground hold here. No guarantee it works fully, though.
And also, if Hawk gets a little bit low, right, you always have to have the threat of Pelican coming in on the Echo with the focusing beam and just kind of burning him down, right?
Yeah, it's a great point, which means Hawk effectively has half the HP that he thinks he has. In situation, he has to play as if he did, you know what I mean? Ooh, Yoji doesn't know what was coming from behind him, but it took him very low. And here we go, that high ground, that obnoxious high ground defense has basically been thwarted, and Pelican is in the back line, getting rid of OG first, Ultraviolet second. The DPS of the Outlaws converge on their prey.
Yeah, and I wonder if you stay on like the Sojourn, if you stay on this composition here for the Atlanta Reign. Just kind of figuring out how worried you are about this Echo pick. So looks like at least for now, Atlanta going to stay. You're going to have a nano boost here available for Hawk. So you'll be able to get another fight at this.
A great opener for OG. You need those.
She takes on Merit.
Yeah, that's so big. Hawk, though, Discord orb, but also with a body grenade and a sleep dart first. This is what I'm saying. Iris just unleashes everything. He's like Khajiit with the wares. He just throws them all at Hawk and shuts him out of the fight. But Kai's there with a headshot on Piggy, both tanks being down. And again, tough stuff for the Outlaws there as the DPS of the Reign come alive, especially Venom standing up in a key moment.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Iris and the Outlaws, because that started off pretty good, right? When Hawk gets the nano, he's a little bit low and hit with a biotic grenade pretty much like a second before he gets the nano boost, so doesn't get any of that health from it. Gets a little bit of the damage reduction, right? But not enough to keep him alive for long. They end up taking him out, but
the dive!
It is.
He finished the job, he got it done, he didn't even have to focusing beam that. Now he's Ana, which is great. Obviously, biotic grenade impactful in these situations, but the barrier was a problem for him to get through. I mean, that is beautiful stuff. And this is something that not every team can do. I mean, I think you might even need to bring Nero in if you're Atlanta and you want to play this way. And that's why you asked about the Ashe, right? Is Kai going to play that? It can be good at shutting down the Echo. There needs to be something leveraged to deal with Pelican. He's a menace right now.
Yes. Oh, look at this. He's going to just
God!
Oh, that is... oh, that is too funny. Hey.
Oh, let him know.
I feel it from Kai's POV. Like, he's like, come on, man. Like, really?
Oh, man. Damn, has to hit him where it hurts, though, doesn't he? Sheesh. All right. Well, pejoratives aside, 3 minutes 18 on the clock there. Hawk's gone digging by the looks of things here. Venom tries to drop a pulse off at the door, but it's the wrong address, apparently. So now he'll turn his eyes towards Piggy while he can. It's a Transcendence from Lastro here to try and, again, inoculate the Outlaws from the impact of Hawk's Primal Rage. He'll head back upstairs now, and they are trying to keep tabs on Pelican if they can.
Yeah, and Hawk does drag a few players back, right? So both supports, Merit there, and then Piggy had to come back. Now Piggy, we're going to get to see his Primal Rage, and he's out. He's getting
flambéed on the high ground, man. He had lost 500 HP in a matter of seconds. Oh, yeah, go on. Kai, put it in chat again, mate. Merit, huge pick there. He gets nanoed, okay. Does he elect to use the ultimate? No, he doesn't need it, apparently. Hawk goes down. That Transcendence from OG is looking extremely sad. You may have entered the Iris, sir, but the rest of your team is stranded outside of it.
The payload is still moving, though. Somebody is on the payload here for the Outlaws. It's going to be Piggy. Yeah, so Piggy was actually still here with Pelican. They got to get out. Yeah, I was going to say, you hang around here for a little bit longer, you're going to end up dead. Will be the Outlaws probably trying to get some high ground here with Merit's overclock. They don't exactly kind of have to push like pretty standard. You see right here coming around this outside.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Ooh, connects right. It looked like it hit like the Echo's wing there.
Yeah, Pelican obviously not really airborne there, so it's a valuable opportunity for Tracer to get a pulse bomb stick. And now that Outlaws time bank's been cut in half since they got that second checkpoint. Still a one-fight sort of situation here if they're able to win it, but we've had some real scrappy engagements, man. Kind of like early 5 versus 5.
And for Atlanta, you don't really have anything here to work with, right? You're going to have a duplicate in the overclock on the other side, so you're just trying to find maybe a support a little bit further off on their own at this time.
Ah, yes, the intellectual choice once again from Pelican. Extra healing on board for now for the Houston Outlaws. Oh, dear.
You just have to wait this out. If you're Atlanta, you're going to get the nano now. It's probably going to go on the Hawk, yeah.
What can he do from here? Iris has an Orb of Harmony on him, but that's it. That's all the healing he can get. He didn't have a biotic grenade available. Pelican's still able to trade and get rid of Venom of all people. And there it is. That's how scary it is as Winston to deal with Echo. As soon as Hawk goes slightly low, Pelican just lasers a limb off.
Yeah, and I think if you would have had Ultraviolet alive, it would have been a little bit more of an interesting fight there because Hawk was getting, he was 3% towards Primal Rage. I know you have the Ana alive there, a little bit more healing output than just the Zen solo. He might be able to get that and keep that fight going.
Transcendence here for the Outlaws, so the Reign need to be wary. If they're tracking this, they'll know that any dive would be extra dangerous. Pelican under a bit of pressure here. That Discord Orb stuck to him. He's able to shrug that off, though, and he wants to get Hawk out of the way. He wants to guarantee the high ground control, but so far, not so great on that plan.
He can be pretty aggressive. Oh, yeah, that nade comes in huge. It's you can be pretty aggressive on the Echo because you have the ability to just fly out of the way there. Not using it to kind of access that high ground, that part of the map. So we're able to use this as an escape tool where the Outlaws roll in here this last part of the map.
Now we're looking at extra innings at this rate. Look at those ultimates the Outlaws have been able to bank here. Venom, can he break the deadlock with a big pulse bomb is the question, but Piggy's gone with a primal. So Venom cleverly is stalling on his own right now. He knows that the rest of his team are being waylaid by the frenzied scientist, so he stands his ground for now. Iris, pulse, no connection there. Iris should be able to step away from it, and so he does. Merit punishes Venom as he tries to get away, and a cringe from Venom there. As Merit hits the mark once more, the cart tantalizingly close here. But the Outlaws have lost Pelican. Can they get it done without him? They have a nano boost here still, and Merit can pop off, but it's Kai's moment right now to go for the overclock.
Yeah, this is going to be a nano boost coming in onto Piggy. He gets actually put to sleep. Hawk comes out on D.Va here for a little bit of a stall here at the end. Merit can't find anything here at that moment in time. Then going to find Venom on this floor.
Big biotic grenade there. Huge one from Ultraviolet. Isn't enough to break the deadlock here. Merit was able to find a sleeping target. I like this. Hawk's so defensively oriented on this particular pick right now, and Pelican tried to imitate him, and unfortunately it was a cheap approximation. He tries to get a remake on Hawk as well. The audacity of it. But the rain hold, this is getting scary for Houston.
Well, we talk about how good D.Va is in like these one-on-one scenarios, and oh, you see why. Flies right in with the missiles. Discord Orb able to try, and they're going to try and finish off Iris as well. That's going to be both supports down for Houston.
Gets you a man that can do everything. Hawk with another switch to one of his old, I guess his old flames. Yeah, the D.Va comes out and he's able to control space, play defensive, and shut Piggy down. That one's going to be frustrating for the Outlaws. That's a map that they, sub Piggy in for. They feel confident after switching to a Winston mirror. But man, Pelican, jeez, Pelican almost gets them there, Matt. Incredible echo play, but it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Pelican of last year, right, on the echo play. But man, the switch to the D.Va at the end with getting the nano and just being able to really just brawl out with targets on the payload paid off for the Atlanta Reign.
Now we're starting to get to the business end of this series. The Houston Outlaws need to have an emphatic response on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere because map number 4 is sure to be a doozy.
I can read it in Korean, you know. Nukueyo. Hey, not funny.
Who's the biggest prankster on the team?
I'd say Nero.
Hawk and Nero.
It's definitely me or Hawk.
I'd have to go to Pelican. This guy's just always up to something.
100% Pelican. Maybe Piggy and me.
나 팀에서 무조건 장난꾸러기는 스파클 선수가 장난꾸러기를 넘어선 그냥 선을 넘었어요.
Always doing something to mess with people.
They like making people mad sometimes.
Me or Hawk just troll the team, like everyone on the team. No one's safe.
팀에서 장난꾸러기는 제가 생각했을 때는 마제드인 것 같습니다.
What? Probably Hydron. I guess it would be me. I like pulling everyone's leg a little bit.
He'll go up and change someone's wallpaper or something while they're not looking.
Or if someone's mad, just making them more mad, just for their own entertainment.
It's just something that we do and we find it funny.
Who has the best fashion in the league?
To be honest, I don't know how any of the other players dress, so I'm just gonna assume it's me. Hydron. I think Hydron.
다른 선수들에게 그렇게 관심이 많은 게 아니어서 잘 모르겠는데 플래타님 아니면은 보이드님 아닐까 싶습니다. 왜냐면은 리그에 많이 나온 것도 그렇고 인스타 같은 것도 보면 옷 잘 입는 것 같아가지고 그런 것 같고.
제가 근데 사적으로 옷 입은 걸 본 적은 없지만 제스처 선수가 조금 옷을 잘 입는 것 같고요. 리그에서는.
For our team, who would it be?
Maybe 이리스?
I don't think our team got dripped. We're not dripped out.
리그에서는 잘 모르겠는데 팀에서는 이제 피어리스 형이 옷을 좀 좋아해서 아마 제일 잘 입지 않을까 싶습니다.
In the league, I think Shu has the best fashion, and I think on our team, it's probably Kai.
And Kevster, actually. Yeah. What teammate always has your back, no matter what?
Probably my Jed. It's my Saudi brother.
I think they all have my back. You know, we trust each other a lot, and you know, we're a team, we're a unit, and I don't think there's any like barriers between us.
한 팀원은 제가 생각했을 때 한빈 선수가 제일 믿음직한 것 같아요.
I'd say everyone on the team, we're all friends. We help each other through everything.
Probably Pelican.
Maybe 단테?
뭐 다 제 소중한 팀원들인데 어떻게 하나만 골라요? 다 소중한 믿음적인 팀원이죠.
So it comes down to this. 2-1 in the series. The Atlanta Reign lead the Houston Outlaws. A frustrating map for Houston. They select Dorado when they cannot get across the line. It's close. It looked like the Outlaws would even finish with some time, but in the last minute or so, the wheels fell off the cart. And now they're going to have to try and find a way to stay in this series on an iconic map for this team, Matthew. Colosseo has had some huge moments for the Houston Outlaws in the past.
Yeah, we'll see Dante come back in for Piggy here on this map selection for the Houston Outlaws. So, gonna go back to running some of these Doomfist-based compositions. Man, the last two maps have really been close. Even think back to King's Row. Dante almost able to get back to the cart on defense. Like right when Atlanta won it, they had a Transcendence rolling, not able to do so. Some big plays from the Atlanta Reign late here on Dorado make this a game point scenario for them.
Great point. It's been like the last minute of each map where it's really been decided, and it's been Atlanta Reign finding an extra reserve of energy in those moments to give their team enough to make the difference.
They're just a team that seems to be coming up clutch pretty consistently, right? Like whenever they need a play to happen, they're able to get it and work it out in their favor in some way. No, can you win all of the time that way? Probably not. You're going to see some kind of like results where
you don't want to win all the time
sometimes.
like that.
I mean, no, not really. But you know, you need some of that like big game playmaking where things don't look as good. All right, well here goes like Ultraviolet and hits a massive biotic grenade, right? Turns a tide in a fight. Or here comes Hawk and he's able to switch over to the Diva and come up clutch, right? It just seems like they constantly come up with that.
Shout out to the, obviously, the Doom switch from Hawk to sort of knock Pelican away to sort of make it not a C9 and actually a legitimate hold. Shout out to the nerd on Twitter, got mad about that. But that was an incredible switch as well. So the Reign, in a pinch, always seemed to have the right answer. What on earth is this approach?
Yeah, so Atlanta, they'll actually go with a Doomfist of their own. So they're going to play the Doomfist with the Lucio, and they want to go fast.
Oh, that's
they want to up the tempo even more.
2-for-1 trade, they'll take those. Pelican also looking awful haggard there. Merit able to pick OG out of the mix here. This one is going to go to the wire in this fight, but Venom and Kai are loose ends here late. And it will be the Atlanta Reign taking an extremely roundabout, literally and figuratively, approach to winning that first fight.
Yeah, and the last time we saw them, ooh, nice shot.
Oh, he knows it too.
He even knows it too. That was nice. The last time we did see the Atlanta Reign play against like the Doomfist setup, I thought Dante and co did a really nice job. I think specifically on Oasis, right? Getting into the back line and making it trouble for OG, who's playing the Zen at that time. So the Lucio's a little bit better in terms of defensive setup too, right? The boop's a little bit harder to hit, obviously, than his Zen. You still get a support ult, right, to keep teammates alive.
Oh, what again?
You lose Hawk here, but Kai with another shot on the Pelican.
These railgun headshots on Genjis? They're unlikely even in the best of situations, but Kai is stringing them together like they're nothing. Like it's a macaroni necklace.
That is not what you want to see if you're the Houston Outlaws, because when Kai starts to heat up and like get going, like there is nothing like watching him play the hit scan heroes when he is starting to click like that. So a few times in a row he's come out, hit some big shots, and that keeps continuing. You can see this go pretty far for the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah, that's when it starts to get a little breathtaking. Right now, Atlanta be satisfied with that early lead they've been able to dig out here. They're also playing sort of along the outside of this area at the moment, not wanting to expose themselves to too much of this poke damage. You think the Kai be happy to take this fight, but
they don't want to play where their barrier is because of that high ground. Merritt just deletes Venom as he takes a little bit step to
Sorry, I think I saw Dante get knocked down twice in quick succession. Once a sleep and once a punch. And still, Matt, the Outlaws are able to come out on top. Merritt, huge fight from him.
Yep, the first kill onto Venom. And then just putting down enough damage on the Hawk to finish him off. Losing some charge here on the Sojourn. So going to go back to 0. But still a decent amount, though, for the Outlaws to make up. It doesn't seem like a lot of like meter push from the Atlanta Reign at the start. But they've gotten it like a little bit around the corner where, you're going to have to fight this high ground here if you're Houston.
Hawk happy with that. That's his staging grounds. He tries to drop on top of Iris, but it's Spider Grenade, Sleep Dart, all of it hitting him. Crucial timing from OG, finds the sound barrier, but still the Outlaws able to find a kill off Dante's Meteor Strike, and then Pelican's there for the follow-up. Beautiful stick. It's so clean from the Houston Outlaws. They will be run away at this rate, looking to get into the lead. Again, look, they had to take that fight in the disadvantageous position, but they turn it around.
Yeah, and they'll take the lead now in terms of push, as OG will go over to the Zen, feel like you maybe need a little bit more damage. This time you capitalize on a sleep, so Houston gonna have to hightail it out of there without Dante.
That's where the Outlaws' push ends, but they've got to be happy enough with getting a lead there, especially from winning a fight from the low ground. It's scary.
Not a significant one, though.
That's true. Right? It is close. Woo. Nicely done, Pelican. Lands that one on Kai. Sometimes it hits a little bit diff when you're playing in the same room, huh? Venom ain't going to get much done in the back line. Yo, that's dirty. Iris chases him with a bio-nade.
Yes, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to find anything here if you're Atlanta. You're just trying to back up as Hawk using the power block to try and escort OG as they actually find a player off to the side. I believe that was Lastro, so you're going to be able to get a pick off of this.
Kai getting some value there out of that railgun. Iris another big sleep on Hawk, but can he handle this kind of heat? The answer is no. Atlanta cede a little bit of extra ground in that fight, but it's time now to get back to neutral.
There have been a few times where Atlanta has been able to catch like Lastro off kind of like on his own, right? We've seen it, remember King's Row, right? He was going on that like flank and trying to make a play from behind, didn't work out. They've caught him a few times, in an off angle. Right there, they're able to capitalize on it, and it kind of turns the tide.
There's a lot of volatility that's predicated on these Sojourn picks. time. You'll see these early headshots from Merit or from Kai, and it really paves the way for a fight win for your team if you can get one. OG, pressured. Pelican trying to chase. It's Ultraviolet he ends up coming out with because OG was flattened by Dante. Kai finds another consistent whale connection, but the Outlaws have some momentum. They're looking to leverage it now. They're still behind the rain. Houston hoping to put this to a stop. This is a very defensive play. The Hawk takes too much damage, has to get out. Health pack, but no healers to top him up. So this is a little scary for Atlanta.
Yeah, as Venom is just trying to stay here to prevent the bot from going so far back, right? So we're a bit more than halfway through this game. Both support ults will be online for the Atlanta Reign. Hawk, you know, he was doing some big damage in that last fight. You give him the nano boost here and you know, same type of part of the map. Maybe he's able to make a big play.
Another pulse from Pelican would be just what the Doctor would never order because he's trying to preserve lives, but could be on the cards here. Is this nano for... Oh, okay, he gets a hit there, but Hawk's able to finish the job on Pelican. All right, so the Atlanta Reign, by the way, coming into this fight with what? One ultimate? One! And they're able to push up here. This is huge. Transcendence comes online for OG and Dante falls. For the Outlaws, they've got to be furious. Yeah. They have 6 ultimates here, Matt.
And a few kills towards the end here is going to be huge for the Atlanta Reign. And that's why Venom, you know, stalling that bot there was so important, because if the Outlaws are able to get it back to 50, like, yard line of the map, the Atlanta Reign are not going to be able to take the lead off of this fight, but they are now.
Mate, those are meters, not your ridiculous freedom units. 60 meters now for the Atlanta Reign. And that puts them, but you make a great point, right? Like, keeping that bot at neutral, at worst, is what allows the Reign to get into the lead here. Now, can they capitalize? Can they follow up? Venom dueling on the barrier for now. Pulse bomb thrown down, but it looks like Ultraviolet was able to get away from it. Hawk currently sleeping. Here's the Transcendence now for the Houston Outlaws. Ultraviolet blowing up there, and whew, that bot's already been moving this whole time, by the way.
Yeah, just a little bit further, you know, for the Atlanta Reign. They don't get to that, you know, infamous butt scratch, right? So Houston Outlaws is going to try and get there here first as Hawk back off spawn. Probably going to want to try and contest this as soon as possible. Do not want to give up the lead here.
Both these teams fighting for incremental leads. Back and forth. No pulse connection this time from Pelican, although Dante looks to go deeper. Iris is taken down, though the Atlanta Reign able to stave off. For Houston, this is devastating. They're in a position to really start to pressure and get an advantage, but their attack, it just collapses on itself.
Yeah, now Atlanta will get going the other way, and this is a scary moment here for the Houston Outlaws. You're going to be coming up on this defense right before the, you know, the infamous butt scratch, that first checkpoint unlocked.
We get it! It's infamous!
You're going to have a nano boost available here and an overclock. You lose this fight, you know, this is going to get a significant amount of progress for the Atlanta Reign that you may not be able to come back from.
They caught Dante and Kai just fight to pick on Iris. This is all going wrong for Houston. The lead for Atlanta is going to continue to increase, and now we're under the 2-minute mark, and we've hit the butt scratch. Because that's huge.
Well, and you can't fight here either, right? Like, if you could fight here, if you're the Houston Outlaws, stop it there. We've seen games end in that type of capacity. You're not able to kind of play defense here directly on that checkpoint. So you're going to get a forward spawn from Hawk. He'll be back a little bit sooner than normal.
Venom jittering in his chair.
Yeah, the barrier's still moving, though. Like,
yeah, with OG
on it alone. And, yeah.
I feel like Atlanta might have just gotten a free 5 to 10 meters there, even in a losing scenario.
And because of the way, you know, they kind of win that fight, they're in a spot where they get past that checkpoint. This is huge for Houston.
This is the push,
all
right?
5 ultimates, obviously. If you're the Atlanta Reign, there's a good chance you have an idea that they have all these ultimates. You want to take a fight early, which is exactly what they're doing. You want to take this fight early, get some of these ultimates out, and then play for a last-second fight, because the bot's not going to move fast for the Outlaws, right? Because it has to stop at that checkpoint.
Pelican tries to blindside Kai, but it's him that falls foul of Hawk. Pelican dropped. Hawk eventually going to go down here, so a 4v4. Great pulse down. Dante, as soon as he comes back down to earth, reality hits hard. And the Atlanta Reign are not going to allow Houston to control it. So now Houston have to full-scale retreat. They have to group up for one interrupted push to win this. It's all on the line here. Houston, this has to be the push.
And they have 4 of the ultimates available. Atlanta does not want to push it much further than this, right? They don't want to run into the high ground, because that's a fight they most likely lose. And Houston doesn't have to use anything for it, as Houston will have to get touch on the bot, keep it moving. Atlanta trying to build up some ult here.
Hopes on the line here. Midseason Madness is in the air for the Outlaws now. It has to be an uninterrupted push if they want to stay alive in this tournament. That's a good start. OG falls. Pele good pressure and Dante goes overhead. Both backliners for the Atlanta Reign are down, so that's the first tick in the box for the Outlaws, but there's many more that must be satisfied.
And you only had to use the nano boost there for the Houston Outlaws, so that is massive. Only use the nano. The bot is going to hit the barrier here shortly, and then you see at the top of the screen, it's going to stop at that checkpoint. It's going to have to unlock that. This is where maybe Atlanta can make a play, right? If you can get Kai up on that bridge with the overclock shooting down, maybe that's where you can get a hold here.
Getting the butt scratch.
American with a biotic grenade.
Yeah, he backs away, looking, playing inside of his own disruptor shot. It actually works out, but Dante, he's so low. Kai finds two. Kai from the high ground, this could be it. The Houston Outlaws looking to make magic again, but Kai ain't about that life. Lastro, the last one standing in overtime, and two extended middle fingers won't be enough to keep the Outlaws alive. They're going home as the Reign continue their lower bracket run.
So man, what a play from Kai. Comes around the corner with the overclock. I was mentioning, you can come from the high ground, use that ability, slides down, connects with a few shots. And that kind of seals the deal there for the Atlanta Reign as they stay alive in the tournament.
I mean, more than just stay alive. We talk about survival, and that is on the line here. But the Atlanta Reign are starting to flourish. A victory against the Seoul Dynasty and went all the way. This time, they handily dispatched the Houston Outlaws. And let's not forget, multiple Houston picks are won by the Atlanta Reign. And they're showing us that maybe they're onto something. Hawk has played so many different tanks across this series, and many times they've been able to exploit the Outlaws' lack of flexibility in that way. The backline for the Atlanta Reign is showing that sort of, incredible power they had in the first few weeks of the season, returning to that hyped sort of OG and ultraviolet phase. This is incredible stuff from the Atlanta Reign, and I got a feeling they're far from done.
Yeah, I think that commitment to Hawk and really giving him the time to play all these other tanks, it's a huge difference for the Atlanta Reign, not just overall in the season, but in this series, right? You kind of see what Houston has to do in terms of swapping out tanks, trying to get the exact kind of composition they want. And rightfully so, because Dante is so good on the Doomfist, and then Piggy's so good on the Sigma. But man, Hawk was the player of the match today for all the things we just talked about. Being able to play the Sigma, play the Winston, the Doomfist, right? Diva, right? We saw so many different tanks from him today, and he was a huge difference maker.
I mean, I feel like on King's Row, there's almost a sense of inevitability. But whatever. It was guaranteed that the Atlanta Reign were probably going to win that because of how they're able to exploit, the opponent tank. Like, Hawk's able to play whatever he likes. The Sigma looked huge. Even on attack, he plays it, and they sequentially take this space. Obviously, returning to the Doomfist on Colosseo. A great series. Incredible series here from Hawk, and we're continuing to understand now why it's so important for that one tank player to have so many options.
Yeah, it is. It's something that I think a lot of teams are going to look at, how Atlanta handled this. I know pretty early here in our season. And I imagine they're going to try and copy some of this format, right? There's a nice break, after this, before we start our third tournament of the year. Where I think a lot of teams are going to look at their roster and say, like, is there one tank we can focus on who can play a lot of these different things? Because, Junker Queen, right, coming in, like, there's a lot of tanks now that they're going to be able to utilize, and you want to utilize as many as possible map to map.
Yeah, fantastic result here for the Reign. The Outlaws, of course, a bit to work on. They're definitely sitting well within the pack, but they need to break through later on in the year. So they'll have a break now, as Matt mentioned. We're going to have one too. I'm going to learn how to say words while we go to the desk and have them wrap this one up. Of course, we'll come back with our next very spicy match after the break.
I can go.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Touch one.
Demand.
Go. Stop. And no sleep. Nice. Clara.
Let him point.
Good shit. Kill him. Or done.
We won.
Good shit.
Oh
my
god.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. I'm here joined now by Hawk from Atlanta Reign. Hawk, congratulations on the win. And yeah, apparently you're the joke. There's a new term going around among Overwatch League tank players, and it's a jote.
Yeah, jack of all tanks.
Jack of all tanks.
You just jack of all tanks.
So
I mean, it's been going around the Western players. People have been calling everyone jotes, but I guess today I had to flex around the tank role, and jack of all tanks today.
Is there a limit on like how many tank heroes you have to use in order to acquire that term?
I think it's mainly just having one tank like always in the lineup. Like if you're flexing around tanks, then you're not a jote apparently.
But you are definitely a jote.
I guess so.
You are a jote.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm talking to the jote of Atlanta Reign, everybody. Yeah, let's talk about this match a little bit. I mean, I think you guys, Atlanta Reign, were very dominant this whole match. But other than the first map, Oasis, so what were some of the problems that you guys had in the first map, and how were you able to turn things around at the end?
First map, Pelican was just taking a lot of space on Genji. He had orb, and he just like he was pretty much playing like a second tank, just walking up, and we just didn't poke him out that well. But on the second and third map, we were able to abuse their tank player that was in, and able to just pretty much just worry about he would have to go to Echo, and then we had to worry about the Echo. So it's complicated, but yeah.
Sorry, every time you talk about tank players now, I just think about that joke tournament. Sorry guys. All right. I mean, yeah, we were talking a little bit about Houston. You were talking a little bit about Houston. I mean, so my second question is actually about Houston. I mean, how were the Houston Outlaws today in your perspective? Were they sort of better than your expectation?
Well, last time we played them, it was a complete tragedy what happened on in the well. So yeah. So we kind of they're a slow team. They like to play very slow, and it's a different environment here. Everyone's face to face, and it's also a tournament, so you get to pick your map, and yeah, just a different environment if you get to pick your map, and we just won our map. So yeah.
Yeah, and you guys did a great job. And last but not least, apparently, so your next match is going to be up against either San Francisco Shock or the Shanghai Dragons. The loser of that match will be going up against the Atlanta Reign. Who would you want to see as a next opponent?
Who do I want to see? I'd rather see Shock, but I think we might see Shanghai. Cause I'm not sure yet, though. We'll see how it goes, but I think we might see Shanghai.
Why do you want to go up against Shock?
I mean, we have a pretty good matchup against them in tournaments, and happened last year in grand finals. So, but it's a different game, so anything can happen. And
a little bit of revenge that you want.
Revenge on both ends.
All right, well, Hawk, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on the win. With that being said, let's go back to the desk. Avali, take it away.
Thank you so much, Danny and Hawk. The jote. Is this a term that...
This is a new one. This is yeah, it's a new one coming around.
We're making history here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All
They
right.
used to call me the boat back in my day.
What's that?
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. Someone else may figure it out.
Everyone guess what that could possibly be in the chat, because I don't know what it is, so hopefully the chat is a little bit more in
The boat.
tune. The boat? I don't know, man. Are you buoyant?
I'm going to call you the boat from now on.
This can go on for
What
like
does it mean?
What does it mean? But again, congratulations to the Atlanta Reign 3-1 over the Houston Outlaws, destroying my predictions. I believe yours as well. You predicted them.
Yes.
You predicted them, though, Johnny.
I am dominating Costa this tournament in Preds.
Yeah, no, I've gotten a little spot. I think it's you. I think you're the problem. You are rubbing off on me. The analytical
so
way
convertible.
to
You're
predict
so-
this would have been Atlanta. Like,
so
Atlanta
gullible.
is always better in the playoffs. Houston always kind of struggle, but
Well,
I don't know.
I was looking at like the bigger picture, because Atlanta Reign, they were the last match
as well,
yesterday.
yeah.
They could be a little bit tired. They're on Hawaii time, a little bit of relaxation, and then to be the first game the next morning, that's a pretty quick turnaround, Johnny.
It is a pretty quick turnaround. But it didn't matter, Costa, because Atlanta Reign are just that much better in this one. No, for real though, like these are pretty two evenly teams. Then I mean, I think it was a bit of a coin flip going into it. I sided with the Atlanta Reign because like purely historical narratives, really. I mean, they've been the better team so far this season in general. Houston Outlaws, they've struggled to get over these kind of playoffs humps so far. And I do feel like we've seen a couple of standout players for the Atlanta Reign. Kai didn't even have the greatest of games in this one specifically. And I'd say it was one of the weakest players, honestly, the way Kai got picked many times. But Ultraviolet, even yesterday, the way he impacted the game with his sleeps, with his bionades. OG is finding picks on the Zenyatta. Hawk as well, the flexibility as they talk.